Hello guys, today we're gonna talk the movie I just saw, like, last weekend, like, the opening weekend, Glass, the next M. Night Shyamalan film, and oh my god, what the hell did I just watch? I mean, good lord. Before I get too far ahead of myself, let's go over some of the basics of it. Just released this year, the first movie I ever saw in 2009, excuse that lamp right there, it's kind of flickering. In 2019, first movie I saw this year. It's rated PG-13, and it's a little over 2 hours long, 2 hours and 9 minutes. It has a 7.1 out of 10 on IMDb so far, with about 31,000-ish voters, and 42% on Metacritic, with about 49 critics. It stars James McAvoy, who was in the new X-Men movies, and the previous movie Split of the trilogy. That's not a spoiler. They give it away in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler. And then Bruce Willis, who was in Die Hard, and of course the first movie, Unbreakable, and of course it also contains Samuel L. Jackson, who was also in Unbreakable, who's the name of the movie's titled after. It's directed, of course, by the great M. Night Shyamalan, who is famous for The Sixth Sense, but has gone downhill until he made a Combat, which is a whole nother story. I'll get to in a little bit. On Rotten Tomatoes, the movie has 37% by critics, with about 279 critics. And so far, 78% by audience people, with about 600-ish audience people, which will change over time. The critics' consensus on Rotten Tomatoes is that Glass displays a few glimmers of M. Night Shyamalan at his twisty world-building best, but ultimately disappoints as the conclusion to the writer-director's long gestating trilogy. Alright, first thoughts on the film. I liked it. It's weird. I feel like Shyamalan was going for, he was going for... It's like he didn't know if he wanted the big epic movie or a game-changing movie. Because they're different things. Because epic movies are simple. Not all epic movies, but a lot of epic movies are simple. They're not super complex. There may be a lot of things going on in the movie, but it's not super complex. But this movie, I swear, like, the first 2/3, I was like, okay, I don't see where the critic hate is coming from. Then the third part of the movie happens, so like, okay, now I get it. I get where the critic hate comes from. Let's start with the plot. Let's start with the ingredients of the film. Acting. The acting is very well done in this film. Now, Shyamalan has been criticized in a lot of his bad movies over the years for pretty much all aspects. Dialogue being non-human-like, the acting being non-human-like, weird choice of directions, weird choice of use of cinematography, and a lot of those things. A lot of those problems aren't in this movie. This movie doesn't have any of those problems, really. Starting with The Visit, Shyamalan has been writing a kind of a quiet hot streak. Because first it was The Visit. Now, The Visit could be its own review in itself. I'll just say that one did pretty reasonably well. And then Split came out, and Split changed everything for Shyamalan and brought him back to the limelight. And with that twist at the end of it, which at this point isn't really a spoiler, so if you haven't seen Split, stop the video, watch Split. But the twist is that Split is in the same universe as Unbreakable. Now, given that, God forbid, we should have a standalone movie in this day and age anymore, it's connected. It's connected to Unbreakable. So now we're gonna get this thing, this Glass movie, the Glass movie, which it was brought up. I was reading reviews, and one guy said this movie shouldn't have been called Classic, should have been called Shattered, because then it'll be like Unbreakable, Split, and Shattered. And watching the whole movie, I have to agree with them. Shattered would have been a better name than Glass. I mean, it would be like calling the movie Split The Beast, or Unbreakable, any of the names they used for Bruce Willis's superhero persona. But that's kind of the thing. It's like, I don't hate the name. It's not distractingly bad, but I would have pick something a bit more in line with those two films, but it's a nitpick. But acting is pretty solid for a Shyamalan film. There's not really any moments where I thought this isn't how people talk. Not really. Maybe toward the climax a tad, but it's pretty good. Second, the writing. The writing is very solid. I mean, you can the best parts of Split and the best parts of Unbreakable with the writing, they're all in this movie. I have to say, the best part of the movie is the writing. For the most part, there's a few little glitches towards the end, but the dialogue is great because you're talking about these. It's kind of the same awesome topics in the first Unbreakable movie, which is awesome because that was the best part of the movie was the dialogue, and it extends in this film, but brings in James McAvoy's the Kevin character, the Beast with 23 different personalities. He's thrown into the mix, and that's awesome. And he's having a ball. If you love Split, you'll love this movie. And if you love Unbreakable, you'll love this movie too. Depends. We'll get to that in a little bit. And then, all right, dialogue's not a problem. Cinematography is another huge positive in this movie. Sorry about this. There we go. Alright. Cinematography. Cinematography is great. They picked colors to represent the characters in this movie. Like, Bruce Willis is... I read this too. You'll notice in the movie, Bruce Willis wears a lot of green. And Shyamalan said, shed in trivia notes of the movie on IMDb, anyone can look it up. That he picked green for him because green represents nobility, green represents life. In a nutshell, for the Kevin character, the Split character with the multiple personalities, he picked yellow because yellow represented Buddhism, religion, and that works because the whole gist of his character is like there's a cult within his personalities that believe in the Beast. That's pretty cool. And he picked purple for Samuel L. Jackson's character, Mr. Glass, because purple represents royalty, nobility, and I love that. And the use of colors is great in this film. I love the use of cinematography as well. The use of camera angles in this film is some of his best, in my opinion, personally. And you can tell that he put a lot into this film. Because, let's see. I read a lot about this movie. So, apparently, Unbreakable. This long episode might be a bit longer than my normal episode. So, but bear with me. But basically, Unbreakable and Split, they were supposed to be in the same movie, but it would have been too long. So he had to cut that part out. So he created 2 movies. But the first movie, Unbreakable, did well, but he was never greenlighted for another movie, so that was shelved for a long time. And then he came out with Split, and then he had that third part already. So everything was already set with that trilogy. It's just only the first one got made for like 16 years until Split came out. But it was pretty cool on that part. And I also love the world. I like the idea of superheroes in our world, how we deal with it. That comes back to the dialogue too. That plays a huge part, like I said before. Alright, let's get back. Alright, acting is great. You got Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson, James McAvoy. I mean, you brought the same character who played Bruce Willis' son back as in this movie as well, which is pretty awesome. And he's good too. I mean, they're all good. Even the main girl from Split, she's in this too. Now let's talk about the climax. Now, I don't want to do spoilers, but bear with me. Alright, so basically, there's kind of a little bit of a build-up to, everyone's like, the climax is going to be at this place. It's kind of not that place. It's kind of a misdirection part of it. So whatever happens in it, it doesn't go there, but I was only slightly disappointed, but here's the thing. And the climax has like 3 or 4 twists, like, in a row, which is batshit. And some of them were good. I didn't see coming. Some of them I did. Um, um, let's see. And some worked for me. Some I was like, did you really need that? Some of them felt a little more on the excess side on the twist, but I will say the conclusion. Damn lamp. I wouldn't care, but it helps with lighting for recording, having it on. But basically, the conclusion of the characters. There's one character I was disappointed that his character ended the way it did. The other ones, not so much, but him, I felt, really? That's kind of rough there. I don't know if I agree with that, but the way it ends, it all makes sense, and I'm kind of intrigued by it. Now, two of the twists I kind of saw coming, but the way they were delivered was a little different than I predicted, but I kind of could see it coming, and, but yeah, I'm not going to say what they are, because that'll ruin the whole movie, really. I mean, if you're curious, check it out. It's still in theaters, of course. And, yeah. And a lot of people are wondering, will there be more? Because this is a world-building movie. And I don't think so. And I don't mind that, because I feel like Shyamalan's magic in this movie was kind of spent. I don't know if he'll be at this great again, because I feel like with this visit kind of gave Spark some interest, and then Split put him back on top, and now Glass came out, and now people are like, okay, Shyamalan, you're good. I don't know if there'll be more. I wouldn't mind seeing more, but I don't know. I think at this point in the franchise, I don't know what they could do to keep things interesting. I really don't. Will I see it again? Oh yeah, I'll see this again. I'll watch Unbreakable, Split, and this movie Glass all day long. I love these movies. I will say this, for Unbreakable, I felt like at the beginning some of the scene choices didn't make sense, like why have that clip in, but at the end it made sense because it was in the twist and all that shit. And then, let's see. I don't know what else more I can say. I mean, I already gone over acting, writing, cinematography, direction's good, in case I didn't mention that. The score's fine. It fits the movie well. This movie doesn't have much of a score. Well, actually, I will say this. The tones mesh beautifully, because the tone of Unbreakable and the tone of Split, because they're very different movies. I mean, Unbreakable is kind of more of a drama, a little bit of action movie, and Split's more of a horror movie, and they blend the tones pretty well, I have to say, especially for a PG-13 film. I will say, at the end of it though, I do think the climax could have used a bit more work. I think a twist or two probably should have been cut, or simplified to the point where it wasn't needed. In fact, one of them was a twist I didn't see coming, but the way it was delivered was a little Shyamalan-y for my taste. But it happens pretty quick. I don't mind it. Some of the dialogue at the climax does get a little bit like, okay, I don't know. Maybe if I watch it again, it'll probably slip past me. But watching it in theaters, I was like, okay, you're tighten up a little bit, Shyamalan. You're letting your Shyamalan-ness kind of get a little too out of control here. But yeah, I have to say, I do like this movie. People coming in having high expectations, I think they might be a tad disappointed, because it doesn't really reach the heights of Unbreakable and Split, because the climax throws a lot at you, and I mean a lot. And some people may be disappointed some of the conclusion of the characters and where it leaves the story. And during the credit scene, even during like the end credits or the credits roll, it really feels like this is the last one that they were doing. And I don't know, I feel like I feel like with Shyamalan, I feel like with the way his work has kind of been up and down over years, especially that long stretch after the early 2000s, I feel like he would want to ride on something that a lot of people can get into, but I don't know. I think if it does end, I think it's a good note to end on. It could end on a better note for these characters, but I think for what it is, I think I'm glad I saw it. I'm glad I saw all three movies, really. All those movies could be episodes in the future, but I think I'm gonna leave that for something else. But yeah, I'm just gonna wrap this up because this has already gone on 15 minutes. I had a lot to say about this movie because it's a Shyamalan film. It's a very unique film because it's a cinematic universe film within a very unique cinematic universe. And I kind of like that. I dig it a lot. And it's something I look forward to in the future from not just if Shyamalan decides to continue with it, but from other studios in general. But yeah, in case you're still watching this, it has gone on a bit long than I usually like to have these kind of videos. But yeah, overall, it's a great movie. It's a very solid movie, very solid effort. The ending should have been tightened up a bit. It could have been a bit more well-rounded. But overall, I love the film. I love the characters. I love seeing them again. I love their dialogue. I love the dialogue of being a superhero, not a superhero in this world, and all that shit. I love the cinematography. I love the camera angles. The action's very cool. I love seeing the Beast go against Bruce Willis, super strong Bruce Willis. That's always cool. And I love seeing Samuel L. Jackson in the corner in his purple suit, kind of being devious. I love all that shit. I wish there was a bit more. But at the same time, I'm kind of glad it's a little limited. Sometimes we're so used to access in our films that we forget that sometimes restraint is the better choice. But that's another topic. But yeah, I'm going to wrap this up. It's a great movie. Check it out in theaters. Make sure you watch Unbreakable, then Split, then this movie too if you're going to watch them. Because if you just jump into one of them or just this one, you're going to miss out on a lot. But other than that, yeah, it's a solid movie. Check it out in theaters right now. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the videos, and have a good day.